I want to extend a hearty welcome to all XRP holders. Thank you for watching. Instead than wasting any more time, we should focus on the current situation. We can also anticipate the opportunities that will present ourselves as the week progresses. As I previously mentioned, we did observe a slight increase in the degree of slowdown they experienced yesterday. To be honest, I think today is going to be quite amazing. It was going pretty slowly. Yesterday, everything moved slowly all day, but now it's starting to move more quickly. As you can see from the image, there are numerous coins. The majority of them are currently rising, which is really encouraging as several of them are rising by over 10%. Is this truly that much of a change? Is it possible that the drop we have witnessed in the past 24 hours is real? With a current price of $2.92, XRP is still a reasonably good asset. The value of the US dollar has decreased by almost 1.2% from yesterday. 2% lower than Bitcoin's value, which is currently up 0.5%. Since last night, the market's value has increased, and it is currently valued at $172.06 billion Odin. Additionally, transactions totaling about $7.5 billion take place daily. However, I want to clarify before we begin that nothing on this channel should be interpreted as financial assistance. Like you should before investing in any other kind of business, you should always conduct your own research before purchasing cryptocurrencies. With a recent all-time high, Bitcoin is currently the token receiving the most attention. Buyers are particularly interested in Pepe, MicroStrategy, Ethereum, and XRP. All of these issues are of great interest to traders. As a material creator, I frequently encounter circumstances similar to this one. When more people show interest in the Bitcoin business, you will be able to observe this for yourself. Not nearly as many people were interested in these coins when they first came out as there are now. However, the release of these coins has generated a lot of curiosity, a topic that has already been discussed on the show. As I may have mentioned prior to this significant breakout, some people may not be noticing how strong the consolidation is. In actuality, I meant that market interest wasn't where you'd anticipate it to be and that the price wasn't breaking out. You may recall that specific comment if you frequently watch my films. It is a clear indication that people are beginning to take notice of the markets because it is currently beginning to increase. Nevertheless, this is a pretty significant indication. Look at how this broke though. I hope you have a successful week in the coin market. Today's Sin Trump. First Lady. According to him, Congress will decide on the legislation that will establish the United States as the dominant nation in digital assets. Check the number of days left before you must submit your application for the XRP-based exchange fund to the SEC. This trend you are observing is quite similar to what you are witnessing. October 18, 2025, is the last day to purchase shares of the Grayscale XRP exchange-traded fund ETF. 21 shares remain available for purchase. November, Bitwise, Canary, and Wisdom are the names of the shares that are now on the market. Placed for sale on the market. October is here. In October 2025, would the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, permit the trading of an additional PTF? This is essentially what everyone has been saying, if you have been listening to the conversation. A number of people have expressed their belief that the ET5 exchange-traded funds will launch at that time this year. Is there any chance at all that this will work out in terms of the timeline? This seems like a fantastic solution to the issue. Companies like Fidelity or perhaps BlackRock might take over before then because there is still a lot of time left. It doesn't take a lot of effort or time to obtain an exchange-traded fund. Since it's simple to follow the steps. That's something to consider. In addition, before it is finished, the judge may choose to dismiss the case that the CC filed. Therefore, you might discover that Integrity or BlackRock might assist in bringing about some sort of settlement if something similar occurred. However, it was evident that the pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fit together nicely in the appropriate locations. It appears that the future will be really bright. However, look at this. Nvidia's market worth increased lately at the same time. That equated to $200 billion. The total is $200 billion. XRP's worth is less than the $100 billion increase in the market value of all cryptocurrencies. This is a huge victory. Your understanding of the current size of the industry should differ significantly. It is simple to observe how little the coin market is when all of these factors are taken into account. Some individuals believe that the value of the Bitcoin market is almost $38 trillion, but when you consider that it is not even close to $4 trillion, merely examining one or two, which is equivalent to a single stock on the actual stock exchange, the total value of the Bitcoin market is 1 or 2. As a result, many people appear to be really interested. Since the doors have been unlocked, this market will expand and go insane very quickly, even faster than you could have imagined. I agree with you that this market will emerge. This would actually make Bitcoin accessible to a reasonable amount of individuals, in line with our previous statements. However, look at this, beginning in. Businesses will start recording XRP in their books in July 2025. This is something you ought to consider. We've discussed today the various methods that publicly traded firms hold XRP and how companies are raising millions of dollars to use XRP as their primary currency. We know that some of these businesses have engaged in such conduct. In reference to everyone, I believe I addressed this issue in the report that was submitted the day before yesterday. Given what transpired yesterday, I have no doubt that this will occur more frequently in the years to come. As you are undoubtedly aware, Trinity and Weaves have stated that they hope to fund a combined $500 million and $300 million, respectively, to establish XRP as their primary cash-keeping asset. It appears like the end is near. As more and more large corporations join the project, the price of XRP will become even more intriguing. In addition, this aspect of the problem was not well understood by many people. Eleanor is the person you should contact. Regretfully, many members of the House of Representatives voted against the bill today because they believed it would facilitate the formation of a CBDC. However, the wording in Genius makes it quite evident that the Fed is unable to issue a CBDC for retail sales.